Welcome to a special grade makeover kitchen audit. I am your master critic, and today we are throwing on our aprons to tackle an absolute disaster of a recipe that students keep trying to cook up. We're diving deep into the Cambridge Math 9709 syllabus, specifically Section 4.3, the conservation of linear momentum in direct impact. Listen, if you've been staring at these collision problems feeling like your brain is just scrambling eggs, you are absolutely not alone. Today, we are going to act as your exam turnaround coaches. We'll look at the sour ingredients that are ruining your scores, dismantle a messy, failing response, and rebuild it live so you know exactly what a 5-star answer looks like. And just to prove that I'm not exaggerating about how sour these ingredients get, look at this. One of the most misunderstood areas in mathematics. That is a direct, hard-hitting quote pulled right from the principal examiner reports. I'm starting here to validate exactly what you might be feeling. The data clearly shows candidates across the board are stumbling here. It's like trying to bake a cake without knowing what flour is. But stick with me, because today we're going to fix that completely. All right, here is our menu for today's audit. We'll cover 1. The momentum misunderstanding. 2. Top 3 examiner warnings. 3. The method mark strategy. 4. The procedural framework. And finally, number 5, securing higher order marks.
Okay, let's serve up course number 1, the momentum misunderstanding.
So, why do students who are otherwise fantastic at math suddenly hit a massive brick wall here? Well, imagine 2 apprentice chefs in our kitchen. We'll call them Alex and Sam. Alex overcomplicates the recipe, dumping in unanalyzed facts and formulas hoping something tastes good. Sam, on the other hand, rushes the writing process and entirely forgets the crucial structural steps. The problem for both of them? Analytical depth is vastly more important than superficial breadth. The syllabus really emphasizes that top-performing students don't just memorize a surface-level formula. They exhibit a deeply connected conceptual understanding. If you just memorize the mechanics, the very second you get an unfamiliar context, your whole framework collapses like a bad soufflé.
Moving right along to Section 2, Top 3 Examiner Warnings. Let's dissect the disaster.
Grab your digital red markers because we are going to grade exactly where things fall apart. Digging into the data from the principal examiner reports, we found the top 3 fatal mistakes ruining student scripts. First up, answers are frequently way too vague. Second, formatting and presentation are literally ignored. It's just numbers scribbled everywhere. And third, candidate working is completely disconnected from the specific context given in the question. It's like Alex writing down a generic momentum formula without actually tying it to the specific objects colliding in the prompt. Examiners absolutely hate this. A huge part of this disaster comes down to momentum terminology. The rule here in the Cambridge kitchen is simple but incredibly strict. You must explicitly define your mathematical terms before using them in your extended responses. If Sam starts throwing around variables like u, v, and m1 without clearly stating what they represent for each particle, the examiner literally cannot award full credit. You're losing marks before you've even done the math. Let's put this under the microscope. On the left, we have a lowest band failing approach. Look at it. Vague, general working, totally undefined variables, missing units. This is exactly what Alex and Sam were doing. A complete mess. The lack of command word application here completely ruins the score. Now look at the right. This is the 5-star dish the examiner wants to see. Context-specific working, beautiful clear formatting, explicitly defined terms. Simply shifting your approach from that disaster on the left to the clear logic on the right immediately elevates your grade.
Let's jump into Section 3, the method mark strategy.
Hold on, I'm going to pause the monitor right here for a quick second. If you want to stop serving up average grades and unlock the secret recipe for an A-star, subscribe to Ace the Exams at Ace the Exams right now and hit that notification bell. Okay, let's resume and rescue this text. It turns out examiners actually award method marks for demonstrating the correct systematic process completely independent of calculation errors. Even if you mess up a simple addition halfway through, if your application of the principle of conservation of linear momentum is logically sound and clearly laid out using a structure like peel, point, evidence, explain, link, you will rack up method marks. The process itself is proof of your analytical depth.
Which brings us to Section 4, the procedural framework. So how do we guarantee we get every single one of those method marks? We use this 5-step master recipe. Step 1, deconstruct the question. Step 2, extract the relevant data. Step 3, select your analytical framework. Step 4, execute with clear notation. And finally, step 5. Present your result with correct terminology. By standardizing this sequence, you stop guessing and you start guaranteeing a systematic, highly professional, and accurate result every single time.
This builds into an even tighter critical loop when you're actually doing the math. First, identify the given information. Then, break it down into logical steps. Next, solve systematically. And this last one is so crucial. Check for reasonableness. If you calculate the final velocity of a toy car and it's suddenly moving at twice the speed of light, you've made an error somewhere. This evaluate and check loop is an absolute necessity for the critical analysis that Cambridge demands.
Finally, Section 5, Securing Higher Order Marks. This is the big leagues.
All right, it is time for an interactive taste test for you viewers at home. These are the marks that separate the good candidates from the truly elite. I'm starting a 60-second visual countdown timer in your mind right now. Look at the step-up framework on screen and find the winning argument point. At the bottom, we have descriptive language, just identifying basic elements. Above that is analytical, but at the very top, the highest tariff is evaluative. Time's up. The winning takeaway here is that you cannot reach evaluative marks using only descriptive language. You actually have to step up and make justified recommendations based on relative importance.
Let's do challenge number 2. What is the hidden critical error that forfeits 5 whole marks in a long-form response? It's the lack of comparative connectives. When Alex and Sam tried to rewrite their bad paragraphs, they hit a massive roadblock with their sentence connections. These connectives are the vital linguistic links needed to evaluate alternatives and compare approaches effectively. Higher-order thinking requires you to explicitly identify similarities and differences, and you must support every single comparison with evidence derived directly from your mathematical working. Without these links, your argument just falls flat.
Here is our flawless, newly transformed 5-star presentation. Evaluation of alternatives, comparison of approaches, and justified recommendations. That is the golden ticket right there. Drawing a strong conclusion based on relative importance is the final, essential ingredient for a top-tier answer. It shows the examiner that you don't just know how to crunch numbers, but that you know what those numbers actually mean in the physical world of the problem.
Before we close down the kitchen, I'm giving you a memory hack based on our 3 golden rules of exam prep. I want you to actively create an acronym right now for the key factors we discussed. Deconstruct, extract, select, execute, present. DESEP, or whatever works best for your brain. Write it down right now. Actively creating this hook will lock these rigorous rules into your mind for exam day, so you never panic when you see a collision question.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer. But I want to leave you with a provocative question. Are you actively applying this procedural framework to your past paper practice right now? Because if you're just casually attempting questions without explicitly defining terms or checking your formatting, you are leaving precious marks on the table. Challenge your current study habits today. Don't forget to subscribe to Ace the Exams at Ace the Exams, turn on those notifications, and jump into the comments to tell me exactly which subject and level you find the absolute hardest. Keep that focus sharp, and I'll see you in the next audit.